For this mission, I am doing a Medivac flight from Brookhaven Airport, KHVW from Long Island, New York, to Clermont County, I-69 in Ohio. Altogether, this flight takes about 3.5 hours. I'm going to be spending most of my time cruising on autopilot, so it's going to be a nice, enjoyable ride. The plane featured in this video is the Beechcraft C90GTx King Air. Here in the walk around, you get a nice chance to get an up-close look at what the aircraft looks like. This version of the plane comes in the Premium Deluxe Edition, but I've had a lot of fun flying the King Air in Flight Simulator 2020. The 350i can carry up to 9 passengers, whereas the C90 can only carry 7. Now it's time to go inside. Here comes our rush delivery. I sped up the taxi so we can get quickly to the action. Now all I have to do is check my settings and I'll be taking off. This plane has a takeoff distance of 1,984 feet.
$100, $200, $300.
Patient's condition is impacted by.
Don't sink. 300. Don't sink. 300. Don't sink. Don't sink. 300. 400.
Approach Bumblebee India Mike Sierra 8912 is type Beechcraft C90GTx, 2 miles north of Kilo Hotel, Whiskey Victor 500 feet, request flight, following.
Bumblebee India Mike Sierra 8912 approach, Squawk 6637.
Squawk 6637 Bumblebee India Mike Sierra 8912.
Bumblebee India Mike Sierra 8912 radar contact 3 miles north of Kilo Hotel Whiskey Victor, 1,600 feet, altimeter 29er, 70.
Here is a fast look at the climb out over Long Island. The Model C90 was introduced in 1971. The C90 series is designed to carry 7 passengers and have a crew of 1 to 2 people. It cruises at 272 knots. It has a range of 1,152 nautical miles and a service ceiling of 30,000 feet. The GTX version was introduced in 2010 and it added winglets as factory standard. Maximum takeoff weight received a bump to 10,485 pounds. That is 385 pounds more than the preceding GTI version. The GTX replaced the GTI in 2010. The GTX model is still produced today. There was a B-90 version of the King Air that the United States Air Force acquired during the Lyndon Johnson administration. This plane was used for an Air Force One transport and designated VC-6A. The plane continued to serve as VIP transport after the Johnson administration until 1985. This is the segment where I descend to begin the approach. That aircraft is now displayed at the National Museum of the United States Air Force at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio. The military primarily uses King Air 90s as VIP and liaison transport. The U-21 Ute is the most common version.
Patient okay for landing, but be quick and smooth. It's serious there.
Michael, please keep your seatbelt buckled.
The landing is a little challenging because of the strong west wind today. The mission ended up having a bug with the steps, so I had to skip to the end to be able to complete it. What ended up happening was there was a discontinuity in the flight plan, so the cruise leg wasn't able to connect to the approach leg, and that's why it wasn't able to proceed through the waypoints to finish the mission, and it hung up. I didn't get a good score for the procedures, but at least I was able to finish it. Feel free to subscribe to Tasty Sandwiches for more flight simming and airshow videos.